So Louis Tomlinson apparently posted or put up a tent in Glastonbury instead of staying near a hotel because he is really going to have the music festival experience. And it got me thinking. So this is actually I'm doing a do-over of Tactical Tomlinson, the whole channeling my agent Louis in Operation Rose and Dagger. um, because I was a little too aggressive and I was recounting the story. So I want to start off with a disclaimer. This is actually about an actual event. And I also, because a lot of times when I fell down the Larry Ellison rabbit hole, and I really started to pay attention to more stuff and just cut, more coverage of their interviews compared to before, where I was really just more paying attention to the music, mainly Louis and Harry, and what I didn't know they were together actually. Um, I I had sort of that retrospect where you're like, oh my god, like I was paying attention enough that I must have picked up just enough stuff about Louis that I thought, yeah, this is where I keep going back to this notion of the positive masculine archetype, and Louis has been really functioning as that to me much longer than I realized, and much sooner than my whole. I'm in my Larry Ellison era. Just to be honest with you. So this is a repeat, and then another disclaimer. So this event that occurred, it happened in 2021, and it happened in an actual situation where I was working for an organization, and it turned out I had my own Simon Cowell to deal with. Oh my god! So, but I want to make two things clear. So I am specifically referencing an individual who has since fled California to the red state because, and it's all public record, they cannot work in the recovery industry in California because they're ineligible for ethic. They're ineligible for registration on the basis of ethics. Okay, so that's one, and two. If anyone challenges me on this story and they want to really know that I'm who I'm referring to, they are more than welcome to go to the CCAP website in California, and let's just say the person who is in question here has the same name or the same first name as the person who recently was bringing up a beef on Twitter with Louis from 2013 for publicity. So McGinnis, his first name, this person has the same first name as that. And in my earlier video that I've now I'm taping over it, I called that person codename Violet. So let's just say the first three characters of their actual real last name, all public record. You will find it if you go search under the credentials section to verify a credential. And yeah, it'll show up that they're ineligible on ethical grounds. Okay. So that's one. And two, if you really want proof, because I've had people like rage comment on some of these videos because they think I'm baiting for I don't know why. And this channel is not monetized, so I don't know why you say that. But if someone really wants proof, they can do a FOIA request on the National Insurance Crime Bureau. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about Louis now. So I had my own Simon Cowell, and this Tactical Tomlinson is how Louis Tomlinson outsmarted the music industry without saying a word. He sang all the way. All right. Because some artists are like they rise loudly, but Louis Tomlinson rose quietly and then brought the building. And Louis, he didn't just survive the music industry's most brutal machine. He studied it. He tracked the exits and he rewired the floor plan. So when One Direction ended, every tabloid expected Louis to vanish. He didn't argue, he didn't explain, he just waited. While others gave interviews, he gave nothing but ellipses. It wasn't passivity, it was timing. He stayed underestimated on purpose because power, it Power moves don't need noise. So Louis' first real power pivot came in 2019, and that's when he released Walls under Psycho. So Psycho, Sysco. But he released Walls was not before studying their weak points from the inside. So shortly after, Psycho collapsed, and Louis, he walked away. No PR disaster, no mess, just gone. So by 2021, he signed with BMG, a label known for artist control and ownership. It was the exact opposite of where he'd come from. It wasn't just a musical decision, it was a structural one. Then by 2022, Louis just wasn't booking shows, he was building infrastructure. Away from Home wasn't just a festival, it was a beta test. Could he create a space where fans felt safe, music felt real, and the industry couldn't interfere? And this is why he's at Glastonbury, and it's because he's continuing to study, continuing to evolve, and he's a he's adapting. I mean, the guy is not a dinosaur. He doesn't think he knows everything, and that's when people make mistakes and they think they know everything. Because the thing is, everyone's got a blind spot, and when you're humble, you're more likely to catch it, or you're more likely to let somebody's feedback in. Okay, so it was a beta test, and the industry couldn't interfere. Yes, and he did it again. Bigger, global, sold out in hours. Oh, remind me, guys, I have to do a video on that. Louis' spectacular live stream concert. Because that is a really that was quite a feat. Okay, all right, and then in 2022, Louis took his publishing rights back. Real important because we know what happened to Taylor Swift when she lost the rights to her catalog and eventually was able to get back. Okay, so every songwriter and industry insider knew what that meant. He was now earning from his work on his own terms, and still he said almost nothing about it. See, the stealth and the silence, powerful. No victory lap, no gloating. Because when you're that good at reclaiming power, you don't need to announce it. You just cash the check. Now, you know what? It's because Louis is so humble and so understated and so dignified about this sort of stuff when he really has like a win. This is why I do the Louis videos, is because, damn it, Louis, you're not like a spy that needs to hide his successes and like the big feats you've pulled off. No, you can let us do it for you because it's fun for us. Okay, that's there's that parasocial relationship benefit again. All right. So during Faith in the Future, Louis took a non-traditional touring route, markets outside the major American media echo chamber, Southeast Asia, Latin America, Eastern Europe. He wasn't chasing headlines. He was building real fan economies where demand was organic, not inflated. Because, the genuine article, the authentic one, always wins in the end. All right. Because inflated is when someone, either they conceal or they obscure or they present as anything other than they are, but it's not a complete mask. And that lands differently than the transparent. This is what you see, this is what you get, right? So again, he toured more cities than artists 3 times his size because Louis isn't building hype. He is building loyalty. He is like gold bars. Okay, the long game. Louis doesn't need awards to prove his worth. Yeah, but we want him to win some. So, like, hurry up, guys. He already owns his catalog. His labels trust him, and his fans built their own global distribution network without him even asking. This is what I'm talking about. You know what? It's the person that's a tried and the steady and the true. And thank you to the commenter who told me Louis is a Capricorn, and as somebody who loves astrology, I should have known that. And Capricorns are known for being slow and steady to the top. Um, and you know how rare that is? He doesn't even ask because he won't exploit his fan base. He doesn't have to. He just has to be genuine and appreciate and thank us. And because he and Niall know that if we don't show up and buy his stuff, he doesn't get a paycheck. That's plain and simple. And he just doesn't, you know what? Like he never forgot where he came from. And I think that a lot of people like chaperone, they easily forget. So that is why I say, you know how rare that is? It's not about survival, it's sovereignty. All right, so some final words. So Louis Tomlinson never told you what he was doing, but if you were watching, and you don't even have to watch consciously, you just pick up on the pattern. I mean, I think the Louis fandom is you attract what you are. Louis is a genius. And I mean, I even did videos about like how you could take clinical data and explain the guy's a genius. Go watch it. But um, people that are like that, they tend to attract people also like that. It's called like you recognize that you're like part of this like I think soul tribe. And so guess what? If you're watching, you learn so much from him. I learned so much from him. You saw a man go from underestimated to unstoppable. It's kind of like the art of war, right? When weak appear strong, when strong appear weak, and it's much easier to catch what you're hunting if you're like a jaguar kind of thingy. When you're hiding behind the bushes and they think that you are a capybara or something, and then when they get too close, you pounce. Um, so no scandals, no industry beefs, just quiet blueprints, untraceable wins, and a business model that's based on outlasting everyone who tried to management. I shall not be controlled. So they thought he was a boy band product, and it turns out he was the architect. And I'm going to say this: he is a titan, and he's not just the boy from Doncaster, or he is still the boy from Doncaster, but he's a titan. And honestly, I don't care whoever rage baits at 2, 1, 3 in the morning, if you're either alcoholic again and you want to say that I'm delusional or that we're delusional, that we need help and that they're not married and what's wrong with you people, you really need to stop. No, we're not going to stop. So, short of a court order, if it's enforceable in the jurisdiction in which I'm a legal resident, fuck off. I'm going to keep posting about Louis. Go watch something else. Like, I don't know, like, just go watch the Victoria's Secret show. I mean, if it's like still a thing. Anyway, so really quickly, I wanted to make this about Louis because I didn't like that my tactical Tomlinson version one was a little too much about me because I really want to keep this about Louis, but I'll really be quick. So I back in 2021, my old boss Tim, real name now, if anyone wants to go verify, uh, I'd worked with him before for almost 3 years, and then he got a really good job, and it was at a luxury rehab center. And he said, "Hey, can you work with me again?" And I didn't really want to not work in the city, but because it was him, I said sure because like. I'm still Facebook friends with him, and like his wife and him are really great, and they're just so lovely. Long story short, we had great working with him again, and then 6 months later, he got headhunted out. So for the second time in my life, my boss Tim was leaving, and then the person who replaced him like did not have the credentials, and I later found out was a complete dick when Tim was leaving. But this guy's name is the same first name as McGinnis from The Wanted. Go look it up. And he didn't have the credentials, but he was buddies with the executive at the head office. And I came to find out that he had orchestrated that two of his friends, like one ended up using the other's like credentials as a certified drug and alcohol counselor to bill insurance that's not just in California, but other states. And that becomes federal because it's crossing state lines. I thought I had to go audit charts, and I was like, wait a minute, why am I seeing this name and not this name? And I told my supervisor because I just thought it was an anomaly. And then obviously this person with the same first name as McGinnis started doing what basically constituted unlawful surveillance using proxy staff. He was like an amateur MMA fighter, so he'd like tried to do the physical intimidation bit, posted a profile photo of him holding like a sidearm and a long handgun. And I was like, why are you doing that on your work profile? Acts of intimidation, right? So what I did is just, Tim wasn't there anymore, got a better offer, And I decided I was going to stay home for a little bit. And so what I did is I said, I don't feel safe. This guy's doing unlawful surveillance on me. I don't know what he's going to do with it. He's texting me whenever I've like left the office. And so they said, stay home. We'll like look into it. They'll still pay me. And then by the last day, I said, I'm leaving anyway. But what I decided to do was all the things that Louis talks about. I brought receipts. And just to make a long story short, this guy's banned from working in the substance abuse industry in California, like for life. So there you go.